contribute to the oneness, rejecting false stories that are designed to separate us from Jehovah's organization. As an example, think about the apostate-driven lies and dishonesties that Jehovah's organization is permissive toward pedophiles. I mean, that is ridiculous, isn't it? If anybody takes action against someone who would threaten our young ones and takes action to protect our young ones, it's Jehovah's organization. We reject outright such lies.
Sekarang, budak yang setia dipercayakan untuk memberikan makanan rohani kepada umat Allah yang jumlahnya jutaan orang. Mereka percaya sepenuhnya bahwa Yehuwa akan membimbing mereka dengan kuasa kudus. Bagaimana budak yang setia dan bijaksana bisa menyediakan makanan rohani yang berharga? Aku akan membuatmu mengerti dan menunjukkan kemana kamu harus berjalan, kata Yehuwa di Mazmur 32 ayat 8. Sekarang, Yehuwa menyediakan petunjuk kepada budak yang setia melalui Yesus. Yesus menyediakan petunjuk bagi umat Allah melalui budak yang setia dan bijaksana. Jadi, kita bisa yakin sepenuhnya akan pemahaman rohani dan bimbingan yang mereka berikan.
Apa yang terjadi di abad pertama terjadi juga dewasa ini. Perhatikan di ayat 4 dan ayat 5 dari Kisah pasal 16 yang tadi telah saudara tandai. Ketika pengawas wilayah berkunjung membawa informasi dari budak yang setia, ketika panitia cabang rapat untuk membahas masalah dengan mengikuti pedoman, apa hasilnya? Menurut ayat 5, karena itu, karena kita taat, kita akan terus diteguhkan dalam iman. Sidang bertumbuh, kegiatan cabang meningkat, dari hari ke hari. Kenapa? Karena seperti yang kita sebutkan di awal, ketaatan mendatangkan berkat dari Yehuwa. Ini organisasi yang diarahkan oleh Allah, bukan kumpulan keputusan buatan manusia. Ini diatur dari surga. Ini organisasi yang diarahkan oleh Allah, bukan kumpulan keputusan buatan manusia. Ini diatur dari surga.
The apology and these yearly reports are about accountability, bringing the truth into the light. So I'm reporting that on 1 July this year, 6 institutions were named as having failed to declare their intention to join the scheme. Since then, 2 of these have joined. We still have, reprehensibly, 4 institutions who have been named publicly and who have blatantly refused to join the redress scheme. They are Jehovah's Witnesses, Kenja Communication, Lakes Entrance Pony Club Incorporated, Fairbridge Restored Limited. It's not acceptable. We are currently finalising the further sanctions, I know that are supported by the opposition, that the Commonwealth will place on institutions who continue to refuse to join the scheme, including withdrawal of their charitable status for these offending organisations.
Who would have ever thought that the Watchtower would have agreed to participate in the Australian Redress Program, the scheme as is often referred to? It's very important that people understand the purpose of the Australian Royal Commission. There's a specific role, a specific thing that they were trying to accomplish. And the Watchtower has literally, for the last 2 years, attempted to re-divert what that purpose was in that commission. And that is, they have attempted to put this issue of abuse onto the individual. When the Watchtower is asked, how do you handle this? They always say, when it comes to the police, we let the family take care of it. We let the individual take care of it. And they just go on and on. Then you will get actual Jehovah's Witnesses. They will repeat that. Well, it's up to the individual what they want to do. But you see, that was not the purpose of this commission. This commission had one simple purpose. They wanted to know the following. How do you, as an institution, not individual, as an institution, how do you handle this issue when it comes to your attention? That is all this commission wanted to know. And as a result, they asked the Watchtower, could you describe how you handle this as an institution and why? Why is that really an appropriate question? The answer is simple. The Australian government allows the Watchtower to operate in their country tax-free. And as a result, you owe us something. And what you owe us is to let us know that your operations are safe for children. The court was able to take a look at the Watchtower's first responders. And what did they see? They literally saw 3 bumbling elders. In fact, one of them had a little phrase, and it was just amazing how he kept using it over and over. He would say, "We just ring the branch. We just ring the branch." And so the court is building up this anticipation that, okay, when you are the elders and we see that you're a little bumbling here, but you ring the branch. So the court is expecting that once we get someone from the branch on the stand, they're going to give us this insight and this in-depth program that you have that is one that perhaps we can even use as a model for other religions and other organizations to pattern after. See, years ago when the Watchtower used to do major conventions, large Yankee Stadium type conventions, the United States Army actually sent in a group of people to observe how the Watchtower put together this convention in just a matter of days. Well, this was not about to happen at this hearing. There was nothing about the Watchtower's program that this hearing and this court wanted to emulate. In fact, at one point, the judge, when interviewing one of the society's legal counsel, the head legal counsel, because of the answers they were getting, he literally read back in his seat and asked the lead counsel, he says, "Man, are you the top lawyer over at the Watchtower?" And the reason why is because the lawyer was giving such little Mickey Mouse type responses. And you can imagine that this was really an insult to this judge because he was a lawyer. And as a lawyer, he fully understands that whoever an attorney is for a corporation, they know where all the bodies are. And so for this attorney from the Watchtower to literally play dumb, this lawyer as a judge was insulted. And so they got literally a chance to see from the very beginning, the first responders, who has first contact with a child who's been abused. This is who they saw. They saw men who had no training, men who had no background in early childhood development, psychology, nothing. And they're thinking to themselves, one of the things that you witnesses are very, very proud of, and that is all around the world, you follow the same message. So are we to conclude that what we're seeing here with these elders is the way you handle this thing around the world? Of course, the answer is yes. And that is why they ended up on this list. Of all organizations that refused to be a part of this scheme or this redress was the Watchtower Bible and Tract Society. And see, this scheme or this redress was basically for 3 reasons. To make sure that the person could get some type of emotional counseling. Is it not amazing? That's something the Watchtower says we don't do. Think about this. The society often says we don't tell people what to do. We don't tell them to go and get any psychological help. Yet part of the redress is to help people get psychological help. Why? Because everybody in this field understands a person who's been abused, they will definitely probably need some type of counsel. Washington says we don't even tell people to do that. Think about this. Suppose the entire family needs help. Mama, daddy, and child. And the elders are saying, well, we don't tell them what to do. How is that really a loving shepherd? So this redress will help provide people with that type of psychological counsel. Second thing is they have to admit as an organization that they made a mistake, that they were wrong. They literally have to apologize for not taking care of these people who are part of their organization. And last, there will be some type of financial compensation. And we can understand that. Some of these people, it has affected their ability to even take care of themselves. Now, you would think that is what the Word of God would move someone who claims to be a true Christian, his only organization. This would be something that would automatically be a part of our program. If someone in our religion is affected, these are the things that we do. Why is it so ironic that once again, Satan, the devil's organization, has to put his foot on the back of the organization's neck just to make them do the right thing? That is amazing. And so this is what the court got the opportunity to see. You see, the real reason that the Watchtower says we will now join this scheme is because it's going to cost them. And this is very interesting. One of the things that you will notice if you look back through the Jehovah's Witnesses history If an issue involved you and I, where we were going to suffer for it, the Watchtower told us to take the hit, take the pain. But if it involves something where the organization is going to take the hit, the Watchtower has no problem revising the rules. We saw that in the case of blood in Bulgaria. They revised the rules. We're not going to disfellowship anyone. Of course, they moved it over to disassociating. And because the Bulgarian government, like most governments, didn't understand it, they got the same result. And the same here. The moment they told them, we're going to take your tax exempt status, they caved in. And I want you to think about this. Russell made this statement. He said that when all the funds dry up and we don't have any money, we will know it's time for us to pack it up and take it home because God is finished. Is it not interesting that they would not test God and find out, is it time to pack it up and take it home? You would have thought they would have fought this all the way to the Supreme Court of Australia, and they would have decided, even if we lose, we are not going to concede that we are doing anything wrong, and we're not going to just turn over dedicated funds to you. But they didn't do that. They didn't even fight. There are literally children of Jehovah's Witnesses in first and second grade who put up a stronger fight for what they believe than the Watchtower did in this case. It is as if the lawyers told them, we don't have much of a chance, and they just caved in. So one of the things that we find very unique about the Watchtower, they're always changing the rules.
Jika Anda seorang Kristen yang ingin mendukung channel ini mencegah penyesatan organisasi Saksi Yehuwa, tolong tekan tombol like karena semakin banyak like maka YouTube akan merekomendasikan video ini secara otomatis kepada lebih banyak orang Kristen lainnya.
That their leader has something special and that only that person has it, and you only get whatever that specialness is by being around that person.
Right, and I'd say, I'm sorry.
I just want to finish. And why they do it, you know, I think it's different with each leader. It's usually a combination of money, sex, and power. Some combination of that. Not every leader is going to need or want the same things, but depending on the leader's proclivities, that's what the group is going to end up doing. That's why you can have some groups are celibate, some groups are free sex, some groups the leader has 99 Rolls Royces, in another group the leader will live in a closet. Right. I mean, it really depends on what the propensities in that person's mind.
But I put power at the top of the list, and those other things as sub-things, because that's the one universal that I see. And power becomes an addiction. And the more power you have, the more power you want, and the more you elevate yourself and people project that you are the greatest person. And that's where you can predict that destructive cults will get more destructive over time, because it's a closed system of yes people going yes, yes, and the human nature breaks down ultimately because no one's perfect.
Yeah. One last question before we take our break. Why do cult leaders, at least some cult leaders, bring their members to death?